social entrepreneur Pamela Mejia sets up a program that gives life to old clothes and fabric scraps by transforming them into higher valued products such as footwear.
Money is the motivation. Get a job, go to work, get promoted, facelift. Made a hit, made some bands, and I'm fornicating. Had a dream, Dr. King, and I went and chased it, yeah.
December 2015. I flew to Tokyo for free because I was one of the 5 finalists of the Asia Innovation Forum 2015 out of 150 startups that applied in Asia Pacific. I was the only girl in the competition, and the 5 of us were competing for the $10,000 grant. I was so nervous when I was pitching Phoenix because I was pitching to 100 people in the room, and they were all men. I didn't win the $10,000, but I was awarded as the first runner-up. To be awarded as the first runner-up, the CEO of Sony will have to choose one of the 5 finalists to be his mentee. And guess what? He chose me. And that alone is worth more than $10,000. In fact, the year after, I flew again to Tokyo for another business competition, and I met up with my mentor, Nobuyuki Ide, and he invited me to tour his office. He's like a grandpa/mentor of my startup life. Now, even if Phoenix didn't win the grand prize, the whole Japan experience was a prize in itself. I got to eat sushi every day. I reunited with my high school classmates Ayla, Kim, and Sam, and we even went for Japanese karaoke, the legit experience. And I got to eat more sushi and more sashimi. And the best consolation prize of all was that my ultimate celebrity crush, Mario Maurer, was there.
So it's Mario's birthday today, and I am in Tokyo, and he's also in Tokyo. Last night, I was in Ginza, he was in Ginza. A while ago, I was in Harajuku, he was also in Harajuku, so now we're gonna find him here in Shibuya, okay? So, in a bit. Let's go! Mario, I'm looking for you. Where are you? Please show yourself to me.
Apologies for the stalker vibes right there. Being able to pitch Phoenix in Japan was a prize in itself. And to think I wouldn't even be here if it weren't for my college thesis that I published 6 months before the competition. Flashback 2014, this was an ordinary, normal day at the sewing room at the School of Clothing Technology at the University of the Philippines, and my blockmates and I were dancing to Spice Girls because we were all preparing individually our graduate collection. And at the same time, we were also doing our thesis. The title of my thesis research was A Baseline Definition of Fashion Social Enterprises, a case study of selected bag enterprises. Okay, so this is Pamela 7 years later after my college thesis. And I just really wanted to share the inspiration of why I did that college thesis. So I still remember, I think it was early 2014. We were doing like a research subject. It was like a preparatory subject for like the main thesis for senior year. And it was a class under Miss Alice Sarmiento, which is why I'm forever grateful because she required us to read this book. It's called Just Fashion, Critical Cases on Social Justice in Fashion. It was written by Otto von Busch, apologies. And there was a chapter there. It was about Homeboy Industries, which is a social enterprise in Los Angeles, California. So Homeboy Industries, what they do is they are a large gang rehabilitation program. So they help rebuild the lives of former gang members in Los Angeles, California. And one of their revenue drivers is that the ex-prison mates or like the ex-gang members, they actually print shirts and they print and design them, if I'm not mistaken, and then they sell it, and then the profit goes back to Homeboy Industries to continue their rehabilitation program. And when I read that chapter, I was so inspired because I felt like there was a light in me that said like fashion can actually be used to change the lives of other people and rebuild the lives of the marginalized. And I felt like, at that moment, I didn't even know it back then, but like this whole concept of using fashion to rebuild the lives of other people, like rebuild, it's like, it's such a phoenix bird concept. And I don't know, like looking back at it now, if you connect the dots, like it's as if I was really meant to build Phoenix. During my whole thesis, I was reading a lot of books and research papers about Muhammad Yunus, who is the founder of Grameen Bank. And like if you are a social entrepreneur, like social entrepreneurs like me would know he is one of the OG original social entrepreneurs like in the world. Like if you think of social entrepreneurship, he's one of the people that you'd really immediately think about. And so I was really inspired by what he did in Grameen Bank. In fact, I was really lucky because I was able to meet him 2 years ago, and I just really told him that, I read about you when I was doing my research paper, and that research paper eventually became my social enterprise. And thank you, Muhammad Yunus, for that.
This was the exact moment I met Muhammad Yunus, and I was able to tell him that he inspired me to create my own social enterprise after researching about him, and he even signed my book. Yay!
I'd really like to share with you guys the findings of my college thesis of what is really the definition of a fashion social enterprise, but I feel like that is for another vlog because it's such an insightful finding or like conclusion from my research, and so let's dedicate another vlog to that. But what I'd like to say is it's because of this whole research that really inspired me to create my startup Phoenix. So I was so inspired by all the social entrepreneurs that I've interviewed that I thought to myself, what kind of social issue or environmental issue in the fashion industry can I provide solutions for? And the first thing that came to my mind really was textile waste, such as old clothes and fabric scraps. And so my eureka moment was one time I was cleaning my closet and then I saw a lot of my old clothes and they've been there for such a long time. And back then I already had a shoe brand, 1111 PM. And so I had this idea of why don't I actually turn these old clothes into shoes? And so I thought, why don't I turn my old red velvet dress into sneakers, my black dress into flats, or like my blue velvet dress into mules? And this is how Phoenix was born.
Hi, I'm Pamela Mejia. I've been a fashion entrepreneur for 13 years. And what bothers me most as a member of the fashion industry is textile waste. In London, there are 123 million clothing items unworn per year. That's 85 pounds of textile waste per person. Phoenix offers an alternative solution. Phoenix collects textile waste such as old clothes and fabric scraps, and we transform them into higher valued products, such as shoes, bags, and fabrics.
And if I could share one super takeaway from this whole experience, is that take your thesis research seriously, but have fun with it. What I mean is, I guess I was so stressed in completing my thesis research, but because I was so in love with the topic that I eventually made it into a business. And I will always look back to my findings. Up to this day, I would do talks and I would still go back to the definition of what a fashion social enterprise is. In fact, I do lectures on this all the time with my other startup fibers. But I'm also the type of I always think long term and long game. As one quote or line from one of the books of Simon Sinek, The Infinite Game, wherein he said successful people always play the long game. And I feel like most of the time in whatever it is that I do, I always think about things in the long term effect of it in my life. And so when I was trying to When I was trying to think of what my thesis will be about, I really wanted to study something that I could actually leverage my future career with, and something I know I could use for like the next 5 to 10 years. And it's been 7 years and I'm still using the findings of my research to help me build my fashion social enterprises. So I hope you learned a thing or two. Peace out!